This is awesome. This game is like a little builder tool. You can hear the bricks. So satisfying. Hey everyone, my name is Greg. Welcome to another episode of Sound Designer Plays. Today we'll be diving into Tiny Glade, a very cool small diorama builder where you can create your own castles, houses, all kinds of beautiful little scenic landscapes. This game was created by a small indie team called Poundslide, founded by Anastasia Opara and Tomas Stachowiak. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And they teamed up with Knock Knock Audio and had Oda Tilset as a music composer and Martin Kvale as a sound designer. One of the other cool things is that I'll have a chance to catch up with Martin at AirCon 25, which is the Airwiggles audio conference on June the 7th, live on airwiggles.com. So if you have any questions for him, please put them in the comments and I'll be able to ask on your behalf. If you want to catch the stream live as well, you can do so with the link in the description. All right, let's dive right into it. So I created a little diorama here to start off with, but I'll start fresh again. In the menu, we have some really nice tactile sounds. And these are just kind of consisting of little clicks and mechanical kind of little ticks and clicks, as well as organic recordings. The hover over sound like bricks or stones or some sort. Really nice. Immediately very calming. And then we can also hear the music in the background, of course. So let's load up a new level. We can select different ones. I'll just go for summer. And here we dive in. We have a little cute house, but I'm going to remove this and do my own thing. That sounds awesome. Okay, so let's go through it. We have a little open space here. We can zoom in and out, pan the camera around, and essentially we can build something here. So our building menu is down here, and whenever we hover over, we get some cool sounds. They're kind of like wood-based. And then when we click something, we have a little bass, a little plop sound, a bass layer, along with a separate layer that contextualizes the elements. So we can hear a second layer to make it unique. Then when we have our dials here as well, they're just mechanical. Super satisfying. And when I click them down, they make a sound, and when I let go, again, they make a sound. So let's build some walls first. This, I basically just hold the button down, my mouse, and then if I drag, it'll play the sound, it'll play a loop, and then if I change the direction, the loop will change. And what's awesome as well, nice. Excellent, we get a sheep sound as well. What's cool too is that when we press undo, we get that entire loop sequence as well, but the sounds are a lot lighter and lacking in kind of like low frequency, as opposed to when we're building them. And then we can also hear whenever we're going through something, we hear a sound. And the reason for that is because our contextual menu starts to open. And that means, oh, we can do something here. So let's look at the wall. We can manipulate it as well. And when we hover over, we get a little like bubbly click sound. And then we can make it taller and smaller. Make a little small wall here. And then I'll build a house. Oh, and this is awesome. So you can hear when I move it all the way to the biggest one, quite quickly we get like that extra creaky layer on top of the little small elements. And then when we build it, we get a super satisfying clink sound. Here again, when we change it, we can change all this. That's pretty awesome. So basically, this is driven by a bunch of different loops that have different layers, and based on what is happening in terms of the context. So if I'm moving the roof, then we play a loop with those different layers, and again, they're modified by how fast I do it, if I'm going large or small, etc, etc. So that's pretty awesome. And then if I click away again, super, super satisfying, like a mix of tactile and organic sounds. So let's quickly dive into the audio direction a little bit. So we have, first and foremost, I want to talk about the audio pillars. So I believe that for this game, the audio pillars look something like this. Tactile, satisfying, playful, cute, minimal, relaxing, smooth, and rounded. I guess smooth is probably not really relevant here because smooth and tactile kind of cancels each other out. But what I mean by that is that it's a really kind of nice, smooth experience and that it feels good. So tactile in terms of the sounds, it's all very clicky and really nice and satisfying, like I said. And from a stylistic perspective, it's very, very cutesy in the art style, so we want to match that with the audio, of course. In terms of the elements, it's very, very sparse. We have ambience, music, the UI, and then certain interactions. And what I mean by that is the following. So we can obviously pet the sheep, or when we go into the bushes here, or the trees rather, every now and then we can hear some vegetation being moved by our camera, which is pretty cool, and that gives it that feeling of actually being in the world and grounds the whole thing. So in terms of the ingredients used here, most of this stuff is all created from organic recordings. I believe pretty much all of it, actually. So I don't think there's any synthesis in this. There might be, I might be wrong. This is something I can ask Martin, but I believe that this is all recorded sounds. So we have a bunch of raw materials, things like stone, brick, dirt, rubble, stuff like that. And then we have a number of different mechanical sounds, so ratchets and clicks and stuff like that from small mechanisms, as well as some bubbly sounds. For example, when we press here the context menu. You can hear that little... Very cool. So yeah, that's, I would say, pretty much the audio direction and what the different elements are. So let's continue to build some stuff. I'm gonna add some windows. And it's awesome, you can hear little pop-ups for the different elements. gonna create a door here. And I do that by using the path tool, and this is awesome. So we have a lot of different contextual menus here. So this whole game is like a little builder tool. And by taking the pathing tool and bringing it, for example, into the wall here, we can create a door. If I bring it through the wall, we create a gate. And if I were to bring it through, say, some wood, it will create a wood gate. And it obviously changes every time that I do something. And again, when we select the undo, it plays the sounds back with the different layers on them, or filters or whatever they did here, which is awesome. So, let's put some more windows on here. I'm gonna move this around, it's so satisfying. Put some lamps. And a chimney. And you can hear the bricks. So satisfying. Gonna add another piece to the house. I want it to be a lot smaller. Oops. That's not what I wanted. There we go. And we have a little alcove here, which is perfect. Gonna make some slightly different windows. And you can hear when I click it, it's selected. Different sounds here. I can click this as well. Move it around, get some loops, place it down again, get a little one shot. And we'll build a little tower here. It's thin. And pretty high. Yes. That's awesome. That's a lot of windows. Might be a bit too much. I like a little flag. There we go. Very neat. And then I'll get some flowers in here. And I think if I click again, I can create some bushes. That's awesome. So let's make a little garden shed over here. With the paths as well, I think it's awesome. So we have different shapes here. So if I select small, listen to how that sounds. Very high pitched. If I select large, very low pitched. So basically we have a pitch modulation based on how large or small our path is. This goes the same, I believe, for the erasing. Oh no, the erasing stays the same. But it's basically just a loop. If I hold down the mouse button and then move, play this, and if it actually erases something, we get a slightly different sound. I'm gonna make a little mountain here, which is super satisfying. It's like, it's a great sound. Got a little path onto a watchtower. Nice. I want this to have nice big windows. And I'll put down some flowers or something here, I think, and a little lantern over here, as well as lighting up the path. Nice. And I want to move these. And again, we have a super satisfying sound. Awesome. And I'll build a little pond here. And this is also a great sound. Oh, and we immediately get some ducks. Can I click on them? Yeah. Nice. Neat. Alright. Let's build a little fence around here. This has got to be my favorite sound, I think. The fence is so nice. Such a great fence. Make some more flowers. Some bushes here. And some water lilies. And then some trees here. Fantastic. And we have a beautiful little diorama. It's so cool. What's awesome as well here is now I can create things like the wall here, then I can make it completely flat, and then I can bring it up, and it will have stilts. It's so cool what you can do here. It's just like the possibilities are not really, I guess endless is too much, but you can do so much. So much. Anyway, let's take a look at the user interface. So we have the main menu icons, which are of course at the bottom, and those are all sound effects that are triggered on either the hover or the click or like the slide of the parameters, and also letting go of them. So click, on click and off click. Then we have the contextual menus, which essentially is things like adding a door with the path tool, or changing the height of a roof until it becomes completely flat. And every time we do something like that, we trigger a sound as a new contextual thing happens. So it's like path plus wall, fires off an event, which is then create door, and that then triggers a sound. Essentially, those sounds are one-shots, as I said, especially for the door and stuff like that, but then we have a lot of looping sounds as well with different layers, as I mentioned at the start, with, for example, the walls or the buildings when we change the height and the size and all of that. And they have a bunch of different layers and a lot of different parameters that drive them. So for example, the height of the building is one parameter, and that might turn up or down different layers in that loop, including the volume of that. And so then we get that really nice procedural audio where, based on our actions, the sound changes to really match what's going on. Additionally, we have the zoom factor as well, so I can demonstrate this here. If I'm zoomed out, I'll hear a lot less, I believe. Yeah, than when I'm zoomed in. So we lose a lot of detail here. You can hear that it's a bit muffled. So there we go. And then based on what I hover over, we get different sounds as well. And this door feels like it's kind of too far over. Now I've created a huge door. Whoops. And now we're creating an archway. And we can hear all of the sounds change. It's awesome. So we get this little tail at the end. Alright, and if we redo that, at the end of the redo we always get a little clunk, which is great. Cool, now let's talk a little bit about the ambience. What can we hear in the ambience? It's pretty sparse and minimal, which is really nice, but we essentially have a ambience that changes based on the day and the night cycle, as well as the time of day and the zoom level. And so during the day we have kind of birds and insects mostly, and then during the night we have crickets, cicadas, and if we're near water we also hear frogs, which is really, really cool. So let's actually listen to this. I'm gonna turn the music off for a second. And then I'm gonna change the time of day. Ooh, we could also hear the sounds for all of the lamps coming on. And if I zoom out, there we go. So you can hear the ambience and the impact of how it's changing based on zoom level and the day and night cycle. So right now we can hear the next thing I want to talk about, which is the music. And it's so beautiful, calm, and tranquil. So the way it works is that we have changes based on the day and night cycle again. And we have a menu music and an in-game music. And the score is really minimal overall. The instrumentation, from what I can hear, is mostly woodwinds, so things like flutes and clarinets, probably some other instruments, as well as harps. We've got percussion and things like xylophone and piano. And the way I believe it's implemented is that it sounds like it's simply a playlist with different tracks that are based on menu, day, and night, and then we cycle through them I'm not sure if there's also any correlation in terms of the buildings and how many buildings you have, and if that then changed the music as well, but I think it doesn't. Might be wrong. This is something to ask Martin and Oda. So yeah, let's listen to the change in music. And then if we go into the menu, cool, so you can immediately hear the difference there, that we're switching tracks based on menu or in-game. Alright, so that covers most of it. I'm gonna build for a little bit longer and just listen to the sounds, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, and huge shout out again to the Knock Knock Audio team who did an incredible job with this. Such a joy to play and just super tranquil and relaxing. So yeah, amazing stuff. And if you have any questions for Martin, please put them down in the comments and I will ask on your behalf. Thanks as always for watching. We had a cool sound then as well when everything joined. Alright. Got a little thing here. Gotta put some lanterns down so we can see at night. Kind of works. What else could I do? Ooh, I can cut it? That's neat. Gonna do something interesting here. Little terrace. Can I build a path on here? No. Okay. Is this... That's kind of weird. Ah, I'll leave that. That is pretty cool. This isn't though. Alrighty. Got a wonderful little place up here. Plant the flag. Oh, we can do this as well. That's kind of cool. I like that. Neat. Cool. So here's my little diorama. Nearly. I think this still needs a... There we go, and... like, need some trees maybe. Perfect. And then flowers. Hill here. Bit more interesting. Lovely. Cute! Can I put a door on the... Oh no, that's not how it works. I could put a window through here, maybe. Not really. Okay. I'll leave that. Anyways. Ta-da! Nice one. Hope you enjoy. See you next episode.